just got the first copy of my book.
Prior to entry, and be hosted by Legal Immigration Services.
Guys, how are you? It's Brett Miller here from Neighborhood.
Fantastic service, fantastic. Always recommend me.
Guys, how are you?
Always recommend.
Hey guys, I want to do a video on work permits, and this is by far one of the areas that I get a lot of questions about, and I wanted to talk about. All right, so there's a lot of confusion, and there's a lot of people that just think that work permits are their only way to Canada, and unfortunately there's a lot of people out there that are trying to take advantage of you by telling you they have a work permit for you, because what's better? I get to go to Canada and I have a job for you. Like, of course that's attractive, but it's also, you need to be careful and you need to understand a few things about it. So let's get started. I want to work in Canada. How can I apply for a work permit? All right, that's usually the question. There's many types of work permits, and you need to narrow down which one applies for you so that you can understand what you qualify for. We're going to briefly discuss open work permits, employer-specific work permits, co-op work permits, postgraduate work permits, IEC work permits, global talent work permits, all of these different types of work permits. So there's a ton of different types of work permits, and I want to give you a brief overview of a number of them right now. Let's start off with open work permits. Open work permits allow you to work for any eligible employer in Canada without needing an LMIA. All right. If you don't know what an LMIA is, check out some of our other videos. But briefly, what it means is a labor market impact assessment. And this is generally the first stage to getting a work permit so that you can actually work for an employer. It's their approval to be able to hire you. Who can apply? All right. So international students who've graduated from a designated learning institution that's postgraduate work permit eligible. All right. We've done a number of different videos on students and postgrads and all of these different things, so go check that stuff out. But again, before you come, if you're coming as a student and you want a work permit, make sure that the institution that you're going to is allowed to give you a postgraduate work permit. You can go to the IRCC website and you can see right there on the last column, if you go to the DLI and the Designated Learning Institution, you can check out the school and you can see if they can offer you a work permit at the end of your studies. Another person that can get an open work permit, someone who's applied for permanent residence in Canada and is awaiting a result, okay? Again, spousal, somebody who is on a bridging open work permit, and we'll get into that a little bit. Somebody who is under express entry and needs that to bridge over to something else, et cetera, et cetera. All of these different things need to be taken into account. There's different programs that will allow you to get an open work permit or not, all right? Dependent family members of someone who applied for permanent resident is actually another one. A spouse or common law partner of a skilled worker or an international student, or a refugee or refugee claimant, protected person, and or their family members, okay? Have to be a temporary resident permit holder as well. You can apply for a work permit too. Okay, those are a lot of different types of open work permits, but I'm glad that we got a chance to address some of those. Now, let's move on to employer-specific work permits. These are work permits that allow you to work for only one employer in one position during your time of authorized stay in Canada. You cannot change employers or job positions during the work permit. You may have certain limitations that must be followed strictly during the course of your time, okay? You must have an LMIA. These are the LMIA ones, which defines and will tell you what you can do as per the job. Now, we've got videos on LMIAs. I know I've already said that. Go check it out. But also be very careful. I really want to say it again, because this is the number one area. People say, oh, I've got an LMIA, I got a work permit, I got an employer, pay me all this money, right? So I just want you to be aware of that. Co-op work permits. These are for international students who are required to complete a co-op or an internship as part of their studies. Okay, the acceptance letter from the Designated Learning Institution, or the DLI, has to outline that the co-op or an internship is a requirement to graduate. Okay, so you can actually do that as part of your studies. It can be paid or unpaid, but again, just keep that in mind. Postgraduate work permits. Now, if you're a student and you actually went to a DLI that is postgraduate work permit eligible, which you've already discussed a little bit there, you can get an open work permit to gain valuable Canadian work experience after your studies. The time for the postgraduate work permit depends on the length of study. So if you studied for 8 months to a year, you get a 1-year work permit. If you study for 2 years or more, then you're going to get a 3-year work permit. Here's the eligibility though. You got to have a valid study permit at the time the postgraduate application is filed. You got to be a full-time student and enrolled at a DLI, and you always have to be a full-time student. If you've dropped down to part-time studies, that's very problematic for you. Authorized to work off campus without a work permit, okay? That's it. All right, but you have to make those applications, and there's specific stuff, and we have videos dedicated directly to that. So if that's you, have a look. All right, there's a lot to cover, guys, honestly, in a work permit video like this. I'm just trying to do an overview for this so that you've actually got a really good indication of all the different types of work permits that are out there. All right, let's move on to IEC, because I want to wrap this up soon for you, but I'm just trying to touch on all of them for you. So IEC is International Experience Canada, or the working holiday. And again, we've already done a video on this, so I want you to check that out. But there's different types of IEC work permits. There's the working holiday, the young professionals, and then there's the internship. But people from certain countries can come to Canada, they can travel, and they can work, right? The working holiday, as you may or may not know, is typically an open work permit, but due to COVID, you're going to require a job offer. The young professional, this is an employer-specific work permit, okay? And generally, there's a different process that you're going to have to go through with that, and you can only work at one employer. And then the international co-op is an employer-specific work permit, and it has to be part of something that you're using for education. Now, I'm going to round this up a little bit. I want to talk about the Global Talent Stream because I love this program. I love it so much. And the reason that I love it is because the government is responsive to the needs of the market, especially in the IT market that is moving very quickly. All right. This allows Canadian employers who are facing labor shortages to hire specialized workers from different countries to fill specific occupation roles where there's no Canadians available to fill them. All right. There's jobs in demand. They're tech jobs, right? Or usually tech-related jobs. Okay. Here's the thing. The government knows that these are actually integral to a lot of different companies, and the tech industry in particular moves very quickly. So they want to get people done. There's a two week, which, in my world of immigration is hugely quick. 2 weeks to get that done for the approval under the Global Talent Stream, and then another 2 weeks to be able to get the work permit. So if you're in the IT field or graphic design or software or something along those lines, or you do web development and you have a job and you have specialized skills, then guess what? This is something that you definitely want to look at. And I love this program. I've worked for a number of different clients in this program, and I love it. And the reason I love it is because it's exactly what the government should be doing, which is being responsive to industry and being able to get the right workers on the ground in specialized roles so that it can help grow the economy and support and educate and develop the Canadian workforce. That's why it's such a great program. But again, we have another video based solely around that, and I would invite you to check it out. All right, I'm gonna wrap it up, and if you want any takeaways from this video with respect to work permits, there's a lot of different options out there. So you're gonna have to find the ones that are right for you, and you're gonna have to figure that stuff out, and then you're gonna have to be able to plot and strategize appropriately. And if you wanna use that work permit to apply for permanent residency, you're gonna have to understand what that is too, and how you can actually parlay that experience into something that might be a little bit more permanent for you. All right, so we're gonna stop there. Thank you again for watching. If you have any questions or comments, please put them down below. And if you want to like, subscribe, turn on notifications. We got a lot of really great videos here, and we're always looking to hear from people. So please reach out. Hope everyone's doing well, and look forward to seeing you soon. Take care, guys.